Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is wonderful to have you here, and today we are going to take a look at the tech tree Era 2 British light tank, the Scorpion 90. Now I am playing the Scorpion 90 here on Desfall, which is a map I'm not overly confident in playing sometimes. If I'm in the northeast, which is where I've spawned in this game, I feel a little bit more confident because I feel as though I can play the open areas around the river a bit better. But if I'm in the southwest spawn, I feel a little bit lost because going north seems to be a way to just get spotted and killed, and going south doesn't really seem all that much better. But anyway, we'll let this game play in the background and I'll go over a little bit more of what this Scorpion 90 is all about. Alright, so if the Scorpion 90 is your first sort of foray into light tanking in Era 2, you may be in for a surprise, because it's not quite the same as the Era 1 lights. And I'm doing my best to avoid a BMP, which is... yeah, that's worked. Okay, yeah. I'll circle around to the BMPs. The BMP2 more specifically a little bit later on, but anyway. Yes, Era 2, the Scorpion 90, is going to be a bit of a surprise to you if you're used to playing the Era 1 lights, the 101 and the 107. Now, in Era 1... the British lights have you running around at 100 kilometers an hour, not doing a huge amount of damage with your gun, but instead you're relying on your teammates to shoot what you spot so that you can farm the spotting assist, and that's where your decent games come from. The 90 has a different playstyle. This has a more aggressive, active, light tank role, I suppose you could say. And the reason you can be a bit more, well, aggressive is the word. The reason you can be more aggressive with it is because you now have an effective weapon. Compared to the Era 1 vehicles, the 90 is slightly slower, top speed of 92 kilometers an hour. It has an average damage roll of 290, which is 40 more than the 101. And interestingly, and this is something I noted while making this video, its standard rounds have more penetration than the gold rounds. Standard is 299 penetration, and standard is just 290? Yes, it's just 290. Fully upgraded, in the Scorpion 90 you'll have 2300 hit points, and finally, one of the more important stats, you have 139 meters of concealment. 139 isn't bad, but it's certainly not as good as what you'll have been used to in Era 1. So, overall, in the 90, you've sacrificed some speed. Compared to Era 1, you've sacrificed some speed and concealment for a better gun. The question is, though, is this trade-off worth it? My answer is a bit of yes and a bit of no. It is worth it in the sense that you can do direct damage yourself, as you're seeing me do there. You know, normally in a 101, that shot would bounce, and in a 107, you'd probably need 4 or 5 clips to do the same amount of damage as you do in one shot here. So there is the better gun performance, which is good, but you're now in an era where ATGMs are a thing, and all you have is a 90mm gun. Add to that the fact that you're going to be going up against BMP2s, as you saw me fight one, well, run away from one earlier. BMP2s, Armadillos and Sheridans, all of which are more than capable of absolutely shredding a 90. This doesn't mean, though, that the 90 is a bad tank. It just needs to be played right. The key to surviving in the 90, and most other light tanks actually, this isn't just specifically for this vehicle, is it's knowing when to leave. You can get yourself into a forward position where you're spotting the enemy vehicles, and you can drive so far, but there comes a point when you have gone too far and you can't get back. And here is an example of where my bad driving clips come from. There you go. There you go. That's one. This is an average game for me in a Scorpion 90 or an FV. That it just happens. I'm not even deliberately trying to drive badly, but anyway, yeah. The key is to know when to retreat. It's knowing when to back off or when to leave a certain area of the map. You might be fast in the FVs or the 90, but there's no amount of speed that can make up for simply removing yourself from a hot area of the map. If no one can see you, then you're not going to take damage. Even if you're going 100 kilometers an hour, you can still have the chance to get shot by someone, and that's what you want to reduce. You want to reduce the times when people can hit you. What you want in the Scorpion 90 is you want controlled engagements, which I've had some of those in this game, but now where the teams are down so low that this isn't controlled at all. This is just me trying to pick off the easiest targets I can, and a bot driving around in a T92 in this scenario is the easiest target. Now I'm trying to run away. Okay, so yeah, controlled environments, controlled engagements are what you really want in the Scorpion 90. You want targets that are isolated or distracted. Another play that is now viable in the 90, which wasn't available to you in Era 1, is light on light engagements. And that guy's put himself on his roof, on his side I should say, and he's dead. Awesome. You've now got the light on light engagement possibilities because you've played the 101, which in some scenarios couldn't fight its way out of a paper bag, and you've played the 107, which is essentially death by 1,000 cuts. Neither the 101 or the 107 can reliably take out lights, enemy lights, effectively. And this changes with the 90, and you saw me take out a BMP2 earlier with he was distracted with someone else. I took the final shot, got the kill. Those are the kind of engagements you want, and you can do that now. This is an option that you didn't have before, so you've got an extra play style that you can mess about with. You can now engage all enemy targets effectively, but I will reiterate again, it's all about knowing when to engage and knowing when to back off. Keeping your hit points, again, is the most important thing you can do with any vehicle, but especially light tanks, because you're more likely to find yourself as the last alive on the team, which is what I am now, but I've not been all that effective at keeping my hit points. I've only got 555 left. I'm the last alive. If I had more to play with, I would have been able to get away with being more aggressive rather than doing exactly what I'm doing here, which is retreating. So, what setup have I got with the Scorpion 90? Well, I like to run tracks, engine and camo on all my light tanks, and this is because I want to boost my speed and concealment as much as possible. In Era 2, you get more of the lights chasing lights gameplay, because lights fighting lights is now more viable. You have that gameplay style happening more often. The sooner you can get undetected, the sooner you can evade your pursuer. And speaking of pursuers, we're going to circle back around to the BMP2, because the BMP2 is what you're going to be facing, and it is a beast, but it can be beaten. Simply put, don't drive in a straight line when a BMP2 is chasing you. I have covered exactly why you shouldn't drive in a straight line when facing a BMP2. I've covered that in my how does auto lock work video. That's where I covered that, so I'm not going to go over it all again here. But in simple terms, if you're not too far away from friendly lines, evasive driving combined with smoke is more than enough to shake off a BMP2 that's chasing you. I say evasive driving because chances are people are using auto lock, so if they're tracking you exactly where your center of mass is, the center of your vehicle, by the time their shells have arrived at your center point, you've moved, so they miss. So evasive driving, taking sharp turns, is a way to avoid being hit by a BMP2. And I am getting to the end here. I've only got one standard round left. Yeah. It's at this point where I realise I'm not going to do it. I don't have the ammunition, I don't have the hit points, and they are not sat in areas of the map that are conducive to more effective light tank play, I should say. So at the moment I'm simply just trying to find positions where I can put shots out and not get shot in return. 9 seconds left, and Yeah, the best I can do is drive away because I know the Object 120 knew I was up there. So if I had more time, it would have been a run away from the 120 basically. But that's the end of that game, and unfortunately it was a defeat. How did we do? Obviously not on the MVP screen, but let's skip ahead to the next screen. There we go, 6,500 damage, 32 hits, 5 kills, 1,200 assists, and there's the progress on my mark. But there you go, that is the Scorpion 90. It's a very, very able light tank, but it does need to be played the right way. It might not have all the bells and whistles that other lights have, like the BMPs or the Sheridan, for example, but it can more than hold its own in a battle. Okay, folks, that's all I've got for this one. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, if not a dislike. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and as always, I hope you're all keeping well, and I will see you out there.